There are multiple ways for speech and sound disorders to be assessed. In a school setting, you work with the speech language pathologist who assesses the student's formation and pitch, along with tone and volume, and works to get them to where they need to be. But for that to happen, the teachers have to be the first steps. So in elementary school, it's easier for students to be recognized as being speech and language delayed, or, whatever speech and sound disorder they may have. However, in high school, it gets tricky because a lot of our students don't talk. They get through their classes relatively fine, but they don't speak, and they don't want to be called on to speak because there is that embarrassment and everything that we previously had talked about. However, with the speech and language pathologist, there are multiple assessments to go through. Personally, I have used the Diagnostic Elevation of Articulation and Phonology assessment. I read over several that have been diagnosed with that for speech and sound disorders, and it's easy to maneuver and read through. But on the IEP side, we don't have to do that, as long as whatever our speech therapist or our speech language pathologists say, that's what goes on. That's a whole different department of special education. But it's a lot of the roadblocks, again, I see in my high schoolers are the lack of participation in high school. I mean, you have students who get through with barely passing grades, and they don't ever talk, they don't come for resource, they don't ever ask questions because they don't want to talk, and they don't want their peers to hear them speak. You've got being virtual or remote. This past year was extremely tough, and I know a lot of students, general education and special education, that fell under the radar because there wasn't anybody to press on them. Along with that embarrassment when publicly speaking, and it is special education. There are going to be kids that suffer from anxiety disorder, and it's just really hard as a high school teacher to diagnose and assess, or push for those kids to be diagnosed and assessed when they have a speech and sound disorder, because even though they are in high school, those should have been clues leading up from pre-K if they went, or through elementary and middle school. It shouldn't just be something that is evaluated and diagnosed in high school.